Hello guys, and welcome to this video on identifying the correct part of SOHCAHTOA to use for trigonometry questions and also the application of doing them. So I've got 4 examples here for you which are hopefully going to be helpful. So I'd recommend that you do go back and have a look at my labelling video, because the most important part, I would say, for SOHCAHTOA questions is identifying what is your hypotenuse, what is your adjacent, what is your opposite, or as the example would have liked to have called them in 2022, A, B and C. So I'm going to be making quite specific reference to the sheet you are given in your exams, your formula sheet, so please do make sure you are paying attention to that, because any notes that you've got previously I would have referred to as opposite, adjacent and hypotenuse. However, the exam board, they've decided to change the notation. It's not an issue, you just need to make sure you're aware of that. So if we have a look here, I've already labelled my triangle. Okay, so I've got C, which is opposite the right angle. I've got B, which touches the right angle and the given angle. And I've got A, which is opposite the given angle. So let's just have a think about what I'm looking for. I want to find X. Okay, and the only things that I know are my given angle is 35 degrees, and I know that this side A is 7 centimeters. So I'm looking for a way to link the angle A and B. So I'm going to go over to my formula sheet and have a look which one of sine, cos and tan, which of those relationships, just noticed a little mistake in it, should be an equal sign in there, which one of those relationships involve the angle, well they all involve the angle, so that doesn't really help us, A and B. So I can see there's only one that does, tan A is equal to A divided by B. Okay, there's no B in this one, there's no A in this one, it only appears here. So I can use that relationship, I've identified it. That's probably already a mark you've got yourself there just for correctly labelling and identifying. So tan A is equal to little a over B. So I can sub in some values. So I know that capital A, my angle, is 35 degrees. I know that lowercase a is 7, and I know lowercase b is x. Okay, so I need to find what x is. So I can work out what tan 35 is on my calculator. This will appear calculator, so don't worry. So what I would recommend doing first of all is rearranging. Okay, I'm going to multiply both sides by x to give me x times tan 35 equals 7, and then divide both sides by tan 35. Remember, tan 35 is just a number, it's okay to do this. Okay, so that gives me x equals 7 over tan 35. I've just used the basic rules of algebra, like doing the same thing to both sides to get there. So if I go over to my calculator and I type in 7 over tan 35, I always like to just close my brackets when I'm working with this. It doesn't actually make any difference to the calculation in this case, but lots of people can make mistakes if they leave their brackets open, so please do get into the habit of closing your brackets. I press equals, I get 9.997. Okay, so I'll write down the display first of all. So x equals 9.997, but let's be honest, we can round that to 10.0 if we go to 1 decimal place. Okay, so that's the first example. So we're going to move on to this one. I need to find y. So let's just think about what I've been given. The angle, I've been given B is 9, and I want to find y. which is A. So again, we already know what is linked, how A and B are linked. Okay, we've got A and B. We're not interested in C at all, we just want to work out what this is. So I know I can use the same relationship as before, that tan A equals A over B. This has just been copied down from the formula sheet. And then all I need to do is plug in my values, which, because I've labelled them so carefully, are going to be really easy just to read off. So capital A is 60 degrees. So tan 60 is equal to, well, A is actually Y, and B is 9. So I can do a little bit of algebra there, a little bit of rearrangement, but I actually think this is going to be an easier question to answer. There's less steps involved. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 9 to give me 9 multiplied by tan 60 equals Y. Let's type that into my calculator. 9 multiplied by tan 60, close my brackets, so 9 root 3. Okay, I'll press SD and it gives me that number there. So Y is equal to 15.588, or 15.6 to one decimal place. Okay, moving on to this one. We will be using a different relationship here. So again, I labelled it really carefully in the first video. I've got A, B and C. C, remember, is opposite of a right angle. B touches both the right angle and the given angle. So if I look here, I have been given my angle, I've been given C is 25, and I want Z, which is B. So I want to find a relationship that links B and C. Let's have a look at our three equations. So sine A is A over C, don't want that, doesn't involve B. Cos A equals B over C. Right, that sounds good to me. We're going to use cos A equals B over C, because I've got B and because I've got C. Cos A equals B over C. So cos 45 equals, well, what's B? It's going to be Z. What's C? It's going to be 25. So then I can just work that through, rearranging it. I'm going to multiply both sides by 25 to give me 25 times cos 45 equals Z. Plug that into a calculator. 25 times cos 45 gives me that horrible looking surd. Let's press S to D. 17.677. Z is equal to 17.677, etc. We can just call that 17.68 centimetres to 2 decimal places, or 17.7 to 1. It doesn't really matter unless the question specifies. And the final one. So this is, it's still SOHCAHTOA, but you solve it in a slightly different way. We've got all of our labels. We have been given that the angle is X, so automatically it looks quite different to what we've already been doing. We've been given that A is 25, and we've been given that C is 40. And we're being asked to find X. So I'm looking on my formula sheet for what links A and C, because those are the only two sides I'm given. No idea what B is, and it doesn't matter. It's not relevant here. So what links A and C? Well, I can see sine A is equal to A over C. So let's write that down. Sine capital A is equal to A over C. So again, I'm going to plug in my values. I know for capital A, we're actually calling X here. The question calls it X. I know that lowercase a is 25, so let's write that down. And I know that lowercase c is 40. So I've just subbed those values in. Now, just remember, we can work out straight away what the sine of our angle is. Okay, we can do 25 divided by 40 and it's going to give me the sine of my angle. But that's not what I'm being asked for. I'm wanting the actual value. So to undo a sine, to get rid of that, so to remove that sine, I need to use the sin minus 1 button. Okay, so that is just the opposite of sine. Okay, so if you take any value, let's say we want to find out what the sine of 60 is, it's going to be that. As you know, let's go for sine of 30, it gives me 1/2. If I do the inverse sine of 1/2, it gives me 30. So it just undoes that sine function. So I'm going to want to do the inverse sine minus 1 of 25 over 40. So let's just type that in. So shift sine, then that fraction 25 over 40. Press equals, it gives me that. Okay, so it's going to be 38.7 degrees to 1 decimal place. Oh. So I've only given you one example where we are finding the angle, but that applies to all of them. Okay, the opposite of finding the cosine is cos minus 1. The opposite of finding the tangent is tan minus 1. Okay, so use the shift and sine, cos or tan button on your calculator and it will give you the answer. So hopefully that has been helpful for you guys, and I will be moving on very shortly to looking at some new content relating to trigonometry. Thanks, bye.